everything you know about professional real estate photography, forget it. Today, let's talk to a professional real estate photographer and get their opinion and their insights on what it could take to make your house look amazing. Hi. Thank you for being here today.
You are welcome. So I am Heather. I'm with Lume, Lume, currently Dark Adaptations Photography.
Perfect.
And Zeb here actually is the one that does all of our drone and aerial work. So he knows a lot about the outside stuff, but I know a lot more about the inside stuff.
She knows a lot.
Yeah, excited to be here and answer some of your questions.
Yes, perfect. I have all sorts of questions about it, things that I think are going to help people who are looking to sell their house just go that extra inch in making their house be the one that people want to come take a look at.
Sure, that sounds great. So what kinds of questions do you hear from your sellers that I can help answer?
Honestly, probably the first question that I would say comes to mind is why need a real estate professional photographer when we all have phones that have cameras?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and one that I've heard from multiple realtors before when talking to them, especially when it comes to investment properties. Mm-hmm. They don't even always have interior photos of something like that. So that's a great question. So the very first thing I will say is that in this day and age, when we're talking about setting someone's listing apart from someone else, that initial impression, that first impression of your house is so important. You can't redo a first impression.
Got it. Kind of like a swipe left, swipe right. What is it going to take to get people to stick?
To stick, right? And exactly, it only takes 1 second or less or something to create a first impression. And that's exactly what you're doing with your home. So you want to make sure that the realtor that you choose, or if real estate agents are watching this as well, you want to make sure that you're really enunciating and taking special care in that first impression, because you don't get to do that again.
Right.
There's no repeat with that.
It's really fast paced, isn't it? And even in a market that seems slow or not that much out there, people are still only taking a little bit of time to look at pictures and look at houses.
Absolutely, yep, absolutely. And I will say, in addition to that, to kind of setting that first impression, there are a lot of things that a professional real estate photographer takes into account that an agent or a novice wouldn't. So you're even thinking about camera levels.
Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, so
camera quality?
Quality, but really what I mean is a lot of people think that you want a photo from you standing there looking at the room. Mm-hmm. That is where you get what I like to call the spider view, which honestly, when you put those pictures online, it literally looks like you're getting a picture. It might not seem like that is going to happen, but it looks like you're in the corner.
Oh my God, it's like you just snapped a shot from your security camera.
Yes, absolutely.
Who wants that perspective? Yeah,
nobody, and honestly, you don't think about it. And you, as a human being, you walk into a room and that's your eye level. Right. And that's what makes sense to you.
Sure.
But a professional photographer is going to come in and, believe it or not, the camera lens is only about 4 feet off of the ground. So really you would be taking, that's why tripods are so important, because you'd stand up and essentially take a picture from about your belly button-ish.
Really?
Depending on how tall you are, yes, around belly button or midsection.
That's so interesting, because you would think that it's so much higher than that, which is why people take the picture from where they think is right, and it turns out to be a Ring camera.
Right, yeah. And when you think about it too, it's the lower you go, the better able you are to get the full room. Mm. People don't need to know what the ceiling looks like, and that's a lot of times what you get when you're at a higher angle. If you think you're standing in a room, your eyes can see more of the ceiling than you can the floor. And people don't need to see the ceiling in a house. They want to see the floor and the space.
That's true.
And how it's laid out that way.
Man. Thank you. I love that. That makes so much sense. Now that you say it like that, it just...
Some of the photos that I've seen, and honestly, that spider view, it gets me. Every time it gets me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we have the right angle. Now we need to figure out like what's in the view. So help me out figuring out what things should stay and what things should go.
Right. So clutter obviously is a big one, but like what does that mean? What does clutter mean?
Yeah. Right.
There are some real estate agents that say like, all right, everything on your kitchen countertops needs to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that just kind of gives a naked look to it. When you're talking about staging, there are varying levels to me of staging.
Okay.
And you want to think minimalistic, but not empty.
But not empty.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll go in, for example, and someone will say, well, I clean off my counters, but my agent said, I need to get everything off, but do I have to move, my plant that I have sitting in front of this window, or even like sometimes if they have like a really nice espresso maker or, a KitchenAid mixer or something, and those might seem like, do you really want that on the counter? But if you don't have it, it doesn't look natural to me.
It's almost like you want to picture it like a warm, welcoming room.
Yeah.
So too much stuff, get it. Mm-hmm. I can't picture my own stuff in there.
Right.
But empty feels like, man, nobody even lives here. It feels cold.
It feels cold.
But what kinds of things would make it feel warm?
Okay. Yeah, and so when you're thinking about like, all right, if you've got a naked kitchen, let's say, but then you go into the living room and you've got this like great setup of furniture, and you're like, well, no one lives in the kitchen. But everybody lives in the living room. It doesn't add up. So there's definitely a balance of stuff versus the minimalistic design of having a few things, having a few decorations that look nice on the countertop.
So you want neutral. You don't want like all your family photos, obviously. Like that's a big one that people talk about. But things that kind of would invite somebody to want to be living there. If they could just like turn the key today, they would be comfortable.
Yeah, so that actually brings up another point that I wanted to mention. You said family photos and personal items. So let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that because there are pretty serious mixed reviews on between agents and sellers and even buyers on like what they're okay seeing on walls. Oh. It's totally, to me, it's personal preference. Okay. Like, all right, if you've got 50 pictures of your grandchildren all over your house, I would consider downsizing that. Like that's a little much. There are sellers that don't want any family photos out there. Yeah. Because that's like a very private thing for them, and so they want to like clear that space and get those things out of there. Yeah. I would say also there's a happy medium, right? It doesn't like it's not black and white. To me, there's a gray area definitely there, and it's completely, I think, up to personal preference. Okay. If you get an agent in there that's saying like you need to remove absolutely everything that has a family picture in it, well, that's not always necessarily realistic, and then you also might get to that like empty nakedness of the house again too. So if I'm watching this as a home seller, I want to understand there's some amount of like personal preference that you can kind of not argue back, but kind of. But kind of, right? Yeah. And again, like it really is up to you want to make sure when you are the agent side of things, you're kind of talking to your sellers about what are they comfortable with versus what you think they need to be comfortable with. Sure. There's a gray area. I mean, you go in as an agent, you don't necessarily want to say, you need to take down those 50 pictures of your grandkids, that's too much. Yeah. However, there's a way to talk to them about how, there's some middle ground here that we could get into that, would be really helpful for both sides, for buyers coming in and sellers not having to take down everything off of their walls. To me, it sounds like, and putting myself in the shoes of the home seller who's got 50 pictures and
an agent coming in and saying, take it all off the walls, like that's really personal. I think as the agent, it's a good idea to just start the approach as this is what works, and what works is this. Yeah. A warm, open room that isn't so personalized that people can't see themselves in the room, but not so naked that it just looks like an abandoned house. And then start saying, well, so things like taking pictures down and taking furniture out, and not necessarily specifying, your grandkids' pictures over there should go.
Right.
but giving that suggestion in a broad sense and see if they pick up on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah. So another big question that I get a lot when I talk to sellers, so a lot of times agents will have me connect directly with sellers. I have a team of agents in particular that it just works out more easily for them, for me to talk to their sellers to make sure that the scheduling works. And then, I'm not scheduling through a middleman.
Yeah.
So the point in me saying that is that I get a lot of sellers directly asking me, are you going to look at my closets?
Ooh.
No. No. I'm not going to look in your closet. I'm not going to open and take pictures of kitchen cabinets.
It's an honest question, like
It is.
for a couple of reasons, like the privacy of what's in your closet, so to speak, but also like, can I like hide a bunch of stuff in there?
Yes.
Last minute throw stuff in and be like, yep, the house is clean.
The house is clean. It's great. Yeah.
So
Like one time when we had an appraiser come in.
Yeah.
And there was stuff on our kitchen counters, and we're like, throw it away as quickly as possible. He's assessing the outside. Get it in the cupboard.
Yeah.
Right? No one needs to see. No one wants to see the inside of your cupboards.
Yeah.
No one wants to see the inside of your closet.
Yeah.
If you have some large, exquisite, like a walk-in closet that you'd like to showcase, make sure you tell the photographer that.
Oh, yeah.
For me, that is not something I cannot speak with for other photographers. But for me, that is not something that I will automatically do, is to take a picture of a walk-in closet. It might naturally, with the angles in a room, work out that it is visible, but to intentionally take a photo of only a walk-in closet, I will not do unless I am directed to do so. A lot of people ask me about basements and garages. And that is very much a gray area, and it depends on a lot of factors. So let's talk about basements specifically.
Yeah.
Because a lot of sellers, as they're packing, they're getting ready to move, are storing a lot of items in one area in particular.
Right.
And it's typically the basement.
It's usually the basement.
It's usually the basement.
Yeah.
If you have a finished basement, even a partial finished basement, I'm taking pictures of it.
Yep. Okay.
If there is a room where you're like, I really don't want a picture on there, but let's say it's like the utilities area. So you've got your furnace in there, your water heater, etc. I will most likely take a picture of it for the agent's discretion to use. It also kind of helps. There was a while there during COVID where appraisers actually weren't going inside.
Oh.
And so taking pictures of utilities really helps the agents to make sure that they're getting like a fair appraisal when it comes to those kinds of things.
Got it.
And I can't speak to, the types of appraisals that are happening now, but it's absolutely something that I'm going to take a picture of.
It started that way, and now it's just a good idea.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've been in a lot of basements that are very unfinished. And you're talking like late 1800s, early 1900s, crawl space, dirt floor, a huge range. Typically what I'll do is I'll take maybe one photo.
Right.
Again, for the agent's discretion.
Okay.
If they decide they want to use it. If a seller is like, nope, absolutely not, don't go down there, it's a waste of your time, then I'm going to respect what the seller says and not going to invade their privacy.
Right.
Because to me, the agent might want that, but if the seller, like, even the agent's perspective, the seller comes first. And so I'm not going to take a picture and then also put the agent in that position. It's like,
that relationship.
Okay, that relationship would be like
respect.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So why would I take that and put that picture out there for that option for that agent to even use?
Right.
Let's also talk about garages.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about garages. If you have a big, like extravagant garage, maybe it's got epoxy floors, maybe you have a lot of built-ins.
There's some nice ones out there.
Exactly, definitely. Maybe it's a huge 3-stall garage. Maybe it's got extra storage. Like, I'm gonna get pictures of those things.
Right.
Do those areas have to be perfect? Of course not. It's a garage.
Yeah, you want it presentable, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
Like, are we talking like we're gonna host a family gathering and we need some extra space, right. Or like we're gonna host a wedding reception in this thing?
Yeah,
it
really depends on the person.
Yeah.
And it depends on the agent's request as well. I've been in one in particular, kind of just comes to mind when I talk to people about garages, and it was huge. It was a 3, maybe even a 4-stall, or like a 3.5 situation.
Yep.
Beautiful epoxy floors. It was a heated garage. Like, it was beautiful, bright light, and I think this guy actually worked on cars, right? Absolutely getting a picture of that for 3 or 4. It's a huge highlight. It's a central focus of the home. If you have a 1 or 2 stall garage, that's basic. I don't know, it's just a garage, right? Or maybe you're storing stuff in it.
Right.
I'm not going to worry about it.
Kind of like the basement, it's there, you gotta see it just to know it's not a total heap of garbage, or
yeah.
But it's not like, I want to put several pictures of this in there.
Exactly.
Because I'm just gonna use it as a garage.
Right, yeah. And I remember what I was gonna say about closets. It's the same for basements and garages. Is that, like, I tell people too, like, you want to leave something to the imagination. You don't want a picture of every square inch of the house, because then you're going to be like in that weird area of, oh, well, I've seen every square inch of that house on the pictures. Do I really need to go and actually see it in person?
That is a really interesting perspective of leaving something to the imagination. Yeah, that's really important to want them to take the next step, right? Like the next step of getting in the house, because that's when they can really get that, all right, can I see myself living here? And if all they've got is pictures because they feel like they had enough, you want to
reel them in, I can see like half of that tile shower. Oh, that's gorgeous.
I wonder if the rest of the shower looks that.
What's the rest of the shower look like? Or I know there's a walk-in closet right there. Or if you have agents that use like the blueprint or the blueprint software, I know there's a walk-in closet there. There's no picture of it. I wonder what it looks like, right? And so bringing people in that way too is always kind of fun. I think. That's fun.
It's a good strategy, I think.
I personally think so. I haven't been on the sales side of things in a long time, but working with the team of the 5 agents, I do feel like I still have a really good grasp on what it takes to bring people in.
Right. Yeah.
That I do.
Yes.
I do see a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot. I've seen the craziest thing I've ever seen. If you want to know.
Can we please get to that?
We can absolutely get to that.
Can only imagine you picking just one thing, but
no,
if you had to.
This is really up there. It was a total surprise. It was a smaller home, in more of like a rural community. And the home was in great shape. Older home, like early 1900s, just beautiful, original hardwoods. And then I go upstairs, and the biggest surprise that I found was this attic space that had carpet everywhere.
Okay.
On the ceiling, on the walls, on the floors. And it gets better. They were carpet squares, probably about the 2x2 squares.
Sure.
Every single one of them was different. And every single one of them was a very bright color. You're talking like the rainbow.
Perfect.
And I'm not just like, they're gray and brown and blue.
Yeah.
Red and gold and
your
teal and pink and something like that is actually really hard to edit.
Custom squares.
Yes.
I can't say that, but
we had different naps too. So we had like a 2-inch shag. We had like the low nap. It was very eclectic, and But not judging. Like honestly, you get someone in there. Like me, I like really weird taste. I mean, that one totally caught me off guard. I'm not sure what I would do with that if I purchased that home. But it's definitely a unique feature that makes something stand out, right? A lot of people might be like, "Oh my God, that's terrible! I gotta take it all out." And I'm not saying I wouldn't, but to me, it's like, well, that's fun. Like, when was the last time I saw that?
Where you put the AI to work and be like, word this room to sound appealing, and here's what it looks like.
And here's what it looks like. Thumbs down on the AI edit on that one. Did not follow the prompt. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And while you bring up AI, actually,
yes.
Maybe we can talk about virtual staging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a thing.
It's completely a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that you should ask your agent about. And is something that you want to make sure is disclosed that it is artificial intelligence staging, so that people don't come in and be like, well, where's all this cool furniture that's in those pictures? How
is that disclosed? Like, is like a text in the photo or something before the photos?
Yep. So that's what I do. Is I put the text directly on the photo. That way, as a potential buyer's looking at it, they can see right on it. Virtually staged, courtesy of, and then the software that I use.
Okay. And
we were talking earlier about how, you don't want like nakedness in a house.
Yeah.
Well, we sell a lot of vacant houses also.
That's
so
true.
we don't want to make our sellers that have already moved out, feel, concerned or should I hire a professional stager?
Right.
And there's something to be said about that.
Do I need to leave stuff behind for the photos?
Right.
Or, okay.
Yeah, and that's a discussion you should absolutely have with your realtor on, your space, on, okay, would this look better professionally staged so that every photo is AI staged or actually staged, or, are a few photos in the house, enough? Because what I'll do...
Make them, work together.
Exactly, yeah. And what I'll do is I'll typically, all right, if I have 4 or 5 pictures of a living room, let's say, I will AI stage one of those, and then show that as I'll line that up as the first photo that people see, and then they'll see the naked space.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Because then it makes it more obvious almost that this is what it would be like. Okay.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Staging can be a huge help.
It can.
You gotta be careful, like you're saying, how you do it and what you do with it, but like you can't virtually stage a tree in your front yard, could you?
No, absolutely not. So that is that is some gray area too. Yeah. So I have had sellers that I've worked for and agents as well who should know better. You cannot Photoshop out things that are permanent fixtures on the property. So I was asked one time to Photoshop out a large tree stump that was in the front yard. Legally, I cannot do that.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea in general.
It is a very bad idea in general, but legally, I cannot do that unless I would like to be sued and never have another photography job ever again. It's a huge liability. There are things that you can talk to your photographer about. So I did take photos of a house for an agent, and there was in the basement like a drywall situation that they were repairing. So it was probably about like a 12 by 10 piece of
in process
drywall.
Repair.
It was in process, and literally the guy was coming that evening to fix it.
Got it.
So instead of going back later, taking new photos, scheduling a whole new situation, once I had confirmation that the problem was fixed, I was able to Photoshop that back in. Just Photoshop it so that it was a nice clean wall. As long as I have confirmation of something like that, then absolutely I can fix it without it being a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
But if it's not fixed, I can't Photoshop it to be fixed.
Got it.
Yeah, and that's such a big liability for sellers and agents and me.
Repairs, colors, things that are like outlets, things, Yeah, okay.
Right,
That
yeah.
is really good to know.
Absolutely, yeah, permanent things. Sometimes I'll have agents ask me to like Photoshop out cords, if you will.
Okay.
Yep, no problem. I can do that.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
That's not staying behind.
Yep.
That TV cord is leaving when that TV leaves, so
Sure.
I can definitely take that out.
So you're asking yourself, is this, what will this look like when they move in? That's what the picture could look like.
Absolutely.
If that helps guide the direction of yours.
Yes.
What can and can't be done.
What can and can't be done. Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Another question I think a lot of people would love to hear the answer is, okay, so house is going to be ready. I know the photographer is coming at 3 o'clock. So what do I do so that I'm ready at 3 o'clock for you to just come in, take the pictures?
Right. You do not panic, first of all.
No panic.
No panicking.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Right. I will show up sometimes, and people are, like we said, just like chucking stuff in cupboards and throwing things, you know, in different
Still
places or whatever.
wiping the floor down.
Right. Or
cleaning
like,
windows.
well, can I move this box to here and you take pictures here and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of times that will work, unless we're doing video. So don't panic.
Okay.
So something that helps me out before I get there, so not a requirement, but something that makes the process go a little smoother. There's a few things that I like to see,
Okay.
like window blinds and curtains open, right? So you
Okay.
want as much natural light.
You want the light, right?
We want
Yeah,
the light,
you want
as much
light.
natural light as possible. Absolutely, because you want to showcase that space and
Yeah.
you know what you've got, the light you've got coming in, and you know, really make sure that that's a highlight of things. People want natural light anyway, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in sometimes with my assistant, who you know, we're going to come in, we're going to open blinds, we're going to open the curtains, etc. Which, by the way, leads me to a point, just real quick to slide that in, is that because you know we're going to do that, if you have like a window pane that's broken, it is in your best interest to get that fixed before I get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or at
Good.
minimum, let me know, because if you're like, there's no way I can get this done in time, is there any way we can keep this curtain closed?
Right.
Absolutely. Most of the time, the answer is
Yeah.
going to be yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I surprisingly can take a pretty dark room and brighten it up.
Really?
Yeah, which, you know,
But
it's
lights
not
are good,
ideal,
like-
but you want.
Natural lighting, but any kind of
Yeah.
lighting.
And
Lamps,
also, like,
things that.
you know, when you're putting it in the market, you don't want to still have this checklist of things to do
Right.
anyway. So
True.
you've got a broken window, even like a broken curtain rod or broken blinds or something. Ideally, you would get those fixed.
Okay.
So back to what we
Yes.
were talking about. So being ready when I come in.
Yes.
So having your
Don't panic.
don't panic. So don't panic. Number one. Number two.
Open windows. Or the-
Open
Not
the
the
blinds,
windows,
not
but
the
the
windows.
blinds.
Yes, all the blinds and curtains open. Turn on all the lights.
Okay.
All the lights.
Okay.
Do not turn on fans. No fans.
Got it. Yes.
No fans.
No
just
fans.
lights.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you get this like strange blurred effect in the processed photo. When you have a fan on, it's not a good look.
No. That makes
No,
sense.
you don't want that. So yeah, all the lights on, no fans. I get questions about lamps also.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want them on and sometimes I don't. So your best bet is just to turn them on.
Sure. Again, leave it to your discretion whether or not you're going to turn it off,
Mm-hmm.
but then you at least know coming in, yep, this is perfect, or not the right color, not the right amount,
Right.
the balance, whatever.
Exactly.
But
Like if you've got an overhead light that's a really warm bulb, and then you
Yeah.
have lamps that are really cool bulbs, or
Mhm.
vice versa, I probably won't have both of those things on simultaneously.
you're talking color, not
I'm talking-
temperature.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, so that's a big one. So lights on, no fans, lamps most likely. And then just making sure that, you know, a couple of things that get overlooked.
Yeah.
The biggest one's the bathroom, believe it or not.
Okay.
So people are very focused on their kitchen. You know, the agent says,
Yeah.
like, clear off your counters. Well, everyone's focused on the counter that is the
Uh-huh.
main counter in the house. we've got a second counter and maybe even a third or fourth,
more, right,
depending on how many bathrooms you have. So a lot of times sellers will forget. They'll forget they've got like toothbrush and toothpaste out, they've got shave cream out, they've got, yada yada out in their cosmetics, whatever, prescriptions. You always want to lock those up anyway. You want to keep those put away.
That's another video about preparing for like
Yes,
an open house or a walk or a showing.
Exactly, that is.
But for a picture, you definitely want that not in the picture
on
anyway. Yeah.
And when we're talking about the bathroom as well, mirrors.
Okay. Oh.
So because as a professional photographer, we're taking high resolution photos. We can see toothpaste splatter or water splatter on a mirror, and as soon as we change the contrast of that, that's what you get. You sometimes get these like big streaks, you get toothbrush splatters and things like that. And yes, I can Photoshop those out. I would prefer not to. It takes so much time, and it's just something that sellers don't think about.
Yep.
And so if you think about it, if you kind of watch this video and think about the highlights, that is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Is the reflective surfaces in your home, and not just in bathrooms. If you've got a mirror in a bedroom or on a vanity or
big or small doesn't matter.
Big or small doesn't matter.
It's gonna stand out.
The camera's gonna pick it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And speaking of bathrooms, I really just feel like bathrooms are kind of the biggest overlooked place.
I was just gonna say it's so important, but everyone just overlooks it, like you said, or thinks, oh, it's fine. What's going on?
Yeah, right. And your good photographers are going to make sure that these things are taken care of as well. So don't panic. If you forget some of these things, it's a lot to remember. Yeah, we're there to help you as well. We're not going to come in and judge you and judge your space. But in terms of like preparing, or if you don't, really want us to like touch or move your things around, or you're just feeling bad about it, really thinking about those spaces. Even like if you have a shower that's a glass door, not just cleaning the glass, but if you've got like your loofah and your shampoo and your body wash and it's all like there, and you've got a glass door, I'm going to be able to see that. Like everyone can see that. Now, isn't that big of a deal?
Yeah.
It's not. That's not a huge deal, right? But it's little things like that where, you might just want to think about.
Sure.
And 90% of the time, we talked right at the beginning about floors.
Yeah.
Being able to see more floor. In a bathroom, a lot of times you can hide things by like tucking them behind. So if you've got like, you walk in, you got your vanity on the right, you can tuck some cosmetics like off to the back, and then you don't really see them because of the angle.
Not in the photo, but it's not in a cupboard either for you to forget.
Right. Or if you've got, a tile shower that you want to showcase, you're probably not going to be able to see 100% of that. So you might be able to like tuck your shampoo and things like down in the corner or off to the side, or just put them in a cabinet.
Okay.
For the
That's
time
true.
being.
Right.
Yep.
Because when you need it, you'll know where it's at and get it back out.
Right. Yes.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another thing I get to is pet dishes. So right before I get there,
oh man, yeah.
Just kind of like tucking those things away, or locking up the cat or the dog is sometimes helpful. I'm a huge pet lover, so a lot of times I'll get cats that follow me around, and it doesn't bother me.
Oh my god.
They just follow me around. Like sometimes I'll literally just pick up a cat and carry it around with me because it wants to be by me. It wants to, it's a very social cat.
That's so funny.
That doesn't bother me. So I've taken photos in homes before where I just like walk around with the cat, whatever, and they're just along for the ride.
They're following you. It's like they're the paparazzi to the paparazzi.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like, how's it going? What are you doing? Why did my mom clean all week?
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of fun too. But just tucking those things away is really helpful. I love pets, but not all home buyers, want to know like, oh man, they've got a cat. As silly as it might sound, that might turn some people off right from the start. So it's nice just to tuck them away, or move them when I get to that room and then put them back.
Right.
It's not a problem. Like one almost final point is that when I go into a house, I do not expect perfection. I understand that, it's a very it's a hard process.
Well, yeah, the whole process of moving is stressful in
So
all
stressful.
these different aspects, right? And,
Right.
and so one more thing stressing you out about photos, you're saying, doesn't have to be.
It does not have to be perfect. If I see things on counters and sellers are okay with, well, yeah, you can move things around if you want to, so that, I don't want sellers to feel like they have to follow me around and make sure that, everything is perfect and everything is moved. If I need to move a hand soap out of the way, I want sellers to understand, I'm not going to call you in to do that.
Yeah,
As long as you're
right.
okay with me touching your hand soap. It's the little things, right?
Exactly, right.
And I get sellers that follow me around because they're very stressed about the process. And
Right. They don't know what to do.
They don't know
They
what
don't
to do.
know, should you? It's honestly a little bit like the people who hire out some sort of plumbing or carpentry or electrician, and then they come in to do the work, and you just sit there and follow the plumber like you're going to be their assistant.
Right.
And I'm sure they probably feel the same as a photographer. Is your best bet is to just leave them be to their profession.
Right, exactly. And
Right.
you, of course, want to make sure that you trust the person coming into your
True.
house.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're comfortable with that person. So, I'm not going to sit here and say oh, don't follow me around because,
Right.
you're inviting me into your home. Your agent trusts me. And so, it's a very important part of the process.
Absolutely.
And I completely understand it. I'm around, real estate every day. I assist with transactions for buyers and sellers.
Oh. Yeah.
And I know that it is the largest stressor for people in their lives, whether you're buying your first home or, you're downsizing or you're upsizing or, you're selling the home that your kids grew up in. It's a very stressful process.
Very emotional.
It's so emotional.
Yeah.
It really can be.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that the photos showcase that you're feeling, but you also want to make sure that you're kind of just stepping away from it a little bit.
Yep.
Letting understanding that the photos are there to sell your home.
Right.
They're not selling your past. They're not selling your knickknacks. They're not selling your history. They're not selling your emotional connection
No.
to the home. So I completely understand how stressful it is, and how much emotion we tie to our spaces. That we want to make sure that everything is perfect and everything is okay. And that's not always doable, and that's part of my job.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
We're a team trying to help.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, and I do like to think about, my role as the photographer is part of that team to help sell that person's home.
It absolutely helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Cool. Is there anything else that you were kind of thinking about, or?
Yeah. In terms of listing photos, it is again just I think reiterating the importance of having good photos. And but it's a team effort, and that team, you're now part of that team. If you're selling your house, you're part of that team to make it look good, but the professionals come in and just polish that out, and the more you can help them, the better off everyone's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But it can actually be a fun, exciting process instead of being stressful.
Right.
If you are just take that little bit extra time to do the checklist or whatever it is, it's going to make everyone just a little bit less stressed.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and you say checklist, and I actually do have a physical checklist.
You do?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I had mentioned that before. So I think maybe I did in the beginning, but I'll make sure that's linked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send that over to you. So
Perfect.
people can have that.
Yes, because that checklist will. I know a lot of people out there live off of checklists because
Yes.
there's so many things going on that me too. If there's not a checklist for it, it's probably not going to get done.
Right.
And those who want to help and don't know how to, that's the best way to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, I think we've talked each other's ears off, and I think I hope that everyone listening or watching this got something out of it, because it is again one of those pieces of this big machine that is selling a house, that can be overlooked, and I know that professional photography is going to always be there because the realtors that just snap a photo on their phone, I wouldn't trust that realtor to sell my house if they're going to cut a corner on something simple like taking a photo that is going to attract somebody, because again, everyone watching the market and clicking on all the houses for sale, it only takes a second
It really
to
does.
either be eye-catching or to be overlooked.
Right. And as a seller, you shouldn't ever be, nervous or afraid to ask your agent, if that's not something that they typically do. Like, hey, I would really like you to do this for my home.
Yes.
Or is there someone we can call? That is an expense that should be covered by your realtor. I haven't heard of any realtors that ask their clients to pay for something like that. That is something that they should be offering. So, I don't want to say like separate out like good versus bad agent. I just think that there may be agents that don't understand necessarily how important it is, how inexpensive honestly it is in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. The big picture, it's nothing cost-wise, but it makes all the difference.
It really, really can. So don't ever be afraid to ask your agent if they do that, and if they don't typically, ask them if they would.
Yeah, exactly. That's as the realtor, you are working for your seller, and that's one thing that you should offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was very nice.
Thank you
being
very
here.
much.
Thank you for talking to me
I appreciate
about
you
this.
coming in because this was awesome. I think so many people either overlook it and don't think about it, or a lot of people know about it but have no idea just what it looks like. So thank you very much.
Thank you.